Nick Wusz, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, man?
Not much, bro. This is awesome. We're doing a pop up.
Yeah, we're doing we decided to do like a little experiment here. We're doing it remotely. Nick's at his house. I'm at my house. Nick is usually here. We're gonna do this
Yeah.
one remote, just see how this works out. Got a couple things to talk about, maybe do like a little bit of a shorter episode. Just because we don't want to do the long ones all the time. That Mortis episode is a little bit over 2 hours. That's a spicy meatball right there.
That's a spicy meatball. Big old meatball. That was really special though, dude. It's a tasty meatball.
It was.
Damn.
It was a tasty meatball, but yeah, maybe a little bit long. So this one's like a little more like of an appetizer, you know?
You feel like there's some sort of optimum length where people start tuning out or something, I suppose
Maybe. I'm
there.
not sure. I mean, most of the podcasts I listen to are between an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I don't think two is like too much, but you know, but it was a special episode. So
Yeah, sure was.
I don't feel bad about it. But
No, it was really incredible talking to him and just getting some insights from the old school days and
oh
just
yeah,
talking. Yeah, so
yeah,
cool. So cool.
yeah.
He's
No,
a really good to talk to, man. That was awesome.
oh yeah, no, that guy's great too. Like super nice guy, and
Yeah.
yeah, very cool. It was nice. He posted it on all of his socials, and he told Weird War about it, and
Nice.
posted it on like his like Patreon campaign and Bandcamp and stuff. So yeah, very nice of him. Very
Have
cool.
you seen the
Okay.
stats, or maybe this isn't something we could talk about? I wonder if there's like a lot of downloads or something.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I haven't looked in a bit, but it was by far the most downloaded within a 24-hour span of being released.
That's fucked up, man, because that means that people aren't interested in what you and I have to say all
I
the time.
know, but
Man,
but I will say that with you and I, we get more downloads than I had before when it was just me. So
nice,
you,
nice,
you've yeah, you've upped the ante.
good. That's awesome. I'm glad. I'm happy to help, and it's been really fun. So
Yeah,
let's keep going.
for sure. So today we're going to talk a little bit about record collecting and collecting in general.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good topic for I
yeah,
don't know, for metalheads, or maybe it's not specific. Maybe it's a rock and roll thing, but
maybe, but I think
still, go
particularly
ahead.
metalheads for sure. I mean, I think metalheads are definitely more into that than other genres. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. That's what I know. Are metal
I
fans. So
feel like merch has been so important, even in the early days, buying shirts and
yep,
just like admiring the album covers and all these things were so important to the music.
yeah,
And now it's even more, I think, bands are on tour and they're not making any money on tour. The only way they can make is in the merch. So they're putting a
yep,
little more effort into the merch. And I've been suckered into this, dude. It's awesome. But
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think it's something it's if it's not specific to metal, it's very important in the metal genre.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, and then also we're going to talk a little bit about Napalm Death's classic song "You Suffer." Uh,
Epic.
yeah, their epic song. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, we just did the Mortis episode, what, like 2 weeks ago?
Oh, only a week and a
A
couple
week and a
days.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we're on the ball. Usually, I'm like, "Hey, dude, what have you been up to? Like, seen any shows? Got any trips?" It's like, "Oh, I only saw you like a week ago." So
Yeah, the only thing I've done is weathered a cold storm. So,
yeah,
and
same.
that's a lot for us. We don't live in Minnesota, dude.
No, no, we don't. Yeah, we had a massive, massive for us ice storm. Pretty much shut down the city for a week. I was iced in for a week.
Yeah,
All the schools were shut down for a week. It's hard to get groceries.
yeah, dude.
But no, it's fine. Like it looks pretty normal outside, except for tons and tons of giant trees that have downed and crushed cars, crushed people, crushed houses.
Crush
It's
spirits.
crushed spirits. Yeah.
I mean, I was a little anxious
Oh
a couple
man.
of days ago. It was like I hear I see the trees swaying, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh God, any moment one of those is gonna fall, dude.
Dude, my old house, like we would have been killed probably.
Oh yeah,
Our old
you
house,
had so many trees around that thing. That was
like
incredible.
these 100-foot trees just like swaying in the
Yeah,
wind above us, and yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, we did fine. It's just like we got, I work from home, so I'm here anyway. But like Aaron was working from home for the whole week, which is cool. But also, we just felt pretty pent up for a long time.
yep, yeah,
So
totally.
yeah,
It's claustrophobic after a while, for sure.
claustrophobic. The kids were bummed because they're out of school for a week, and
Yeah.
It's like they're cool with it for a while, but then after a while they get bored and, all that
I don't
shit.
know, man. I feel like as I get older, the disruption of the routine is like it screws me up too, and
Yeah.
I push myself a lot to try to travel and do new things and stuff. But when I'm at home, I do have a routine, and when it gets screwed up, I get pissed off, dude.
Well, I got mad because it's like okay, I'm gonna get up, gonna make my egg. Nope, can't make my egg. I'm gonna have some coffee. Nope, can't have coffee. Well, shit.
Yeah, it's that kind of
I'll
stuff.
just put on a record. Nope, can't do that. Oh my god, like, yeah, all the stupid
exactly.
shit that people go through.
Yep.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, as always, check out the Earth and Sound merch store. All that we have it's actually very appropriate. We have the I Hate Music Scum design.
Turned out so good, dude.
Yeah, it's really good. Shirts and hoodies in stock, perfect for this You Suffer episode.
Nice.
Of course, we do have the playlist that's going. It's not really updated for this episode because this is a special short one. So it still reflects the Mortis episode. But I suppose I could throw You Suffer in there just for fun. Maybe I'll do that.
Well, I'm looking at your list here, and there's another song on there, "I Suffer More," but I don't even know what that is.
That's just basically I just searched up You Suffer, and it came up with those. "I Suffer More" by Elise Eklund. I don't know what that is. But it's 4 seconds, so I'm assuming it's a cover of some sort. We'll get into it later.
I like the idea of a competitive suffering,
Yeah. You're like, well, you think you suffer?
Yeah, you think your life's bad? Look at mine.
Yeah, I suffer more, dude. We're gonna get into a couple listener emails. Does that sound okay, Nick?
Sounds great.
Yeah, we got a couple. As always, if you have comments, questions, or corrections for Nick, not for me. But if you need to correct Nick,
yeah, I'm the one that's gonna fuck up.
hate.pod.music@gmail.com. I do have one correction I want to get into before I read the emails.
Okay.
So last time I mentioned the weird project that my friend Dan Hill and I had, my friend Confederate Hat Guy that wrote in, and I called it Underpants Ahoy. Well, I'm going through this thing now where I'm going through like all of my 4-track demos and looking at them, and I was wrong. It's called Under Things Ahoy. So,
well, just in case you were out there Googling that, now you can find it.
I'm surprised I didn't get hundreds of emails of people correcting me.
Yeah. We should do a whole episode about that Cleveland stuff that you were so into.
Oh, yeah. The
I would
stuff.
like to learn more about that too.
So. Oh, yeah. we could get food on. He can school us on all of it.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we should do that for sure. So I got an email from my buddy Sebastian from Romania. He was the only one that wrote in about having an idea for a trivia question. But I'm sorry, Sebastian. I didn't really like your idea. And honestly, I didn't really understand what you're getting at. So we're just going to move on. We had no good ideas for the trivia question. But here's a good one.
Okay.
A good email. This is from Kyle Kraus, and the subject is Another Kyle Arrives.
Holy crap, really? Another one?
Yep. It's an influx of Kyles.
That's insane.
So this one says, "Hello, Jason. I was listening to the latest pod and noticed that there are an influx of Kyles, so I wanted to throw myself into the mix. Like the other guy, I live near Pittsburgh." And then he goes on to say, "Bring Agalloch to Mr. Smalls, excuse me, so I can get some records signed. I'll even bring my Worms in the Keys LP. Attached is a picture of me with Stu from King Gizzard. This could be you," he says. So that's 3 different Kyles that have written in.
So do you think it's a regional name, Kyle, from like 1985, 1990? There were like an influx of Eastern or Midwestern women that were naming their kids Kyle. What's going on here?
Yeah, a lot of people that love to drink Monster Energy drinks and punch holes in drywall, that type of shit. Yeah,
hang up drywall? Is that what you said?
No, punch holes in drywall.
Oh, punch holes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know one Kyle in my personal life, I think. So.
Yeah, I knew a Kyle as well. It feels like that was a name that was popular for a while, but I doubt kids are being named that anymore.
I don't think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all like Cascade and like Willamette and shit,
Well, here they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
PBR Deschutes.
PBR, dude. Great name.
Yeah. So anyway, Kyle, thanks for writing in. It's always good to get more Kyles on our team.
Totally.
And this is our last.
We should do a tribute to Kyle, some kind of like
we should
shirt design or like something.
Yeah,
amazing.
like a mug or something. I don't know. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, coffee mug. Mug.
I hate Kyle's. That's a great idea.
It is.
Okay, last email. This is from somebody named Tamsin Cornelius.
Nice.
This person says, "Hi, I just listened to you talking about an ex-colleague who only went to Vader shows out of all metal.
Yep.
A decade ago, I was in a running club with a very preppy girl who didn't look even slightly alternative. She too said she had been to see Vader a number of times. I'm not sure if this was the only metal band she'd ever really engaged with, but certainly she said it was the only metal band she still cared about. Enjoying the podcast, Tamsin."
What's up with this, dude? I think it was Vader featured in a game or in a movie that we don't know about.
Not that I know of. I mean, they're. I don't want to say they're like second-rate death metal, but they're like lower on the echelon of like popularity.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's so strange about it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, none of that makes sense to me. Like, why Vader?
They're from Poland, right? So
yeah.
Maybe these are people that are obsessed with Poland or something.
Who's obsessed with Poland? People who, like Polish people, I guess. I don't know.
Have you seen that bumper sticker that says "Keep Poland Weird"? I love that sticker.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Poland's a bit strange.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Had some.
I was there in 2002. I was there in 2002, and I was at the time I was trying to be vegetarian. I couldn't find any food, dude.
Oh no,
I was so stupid looking back. What was I doing?
Yeah, vegetarian in Poland. I've had some good times in Poland, but a little rough around the edges here and there.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's it as far as the emails go. Thanks everybody for writing in. I love getting the emails. It makes me very happy, especially from people named Kyle. So.
Yeah, no kidding. All the Kyles, write to us, please.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, Nick.
All right.
What are your thoughts on record collecting and collecting in general? I know.
Going back when there was no streaming, that was the only way, right? You had to like go to the store and like look at album covers and sometimes take risks on things and buy things and just. So the accumulation of CDs was quite large in my life.
Yeah,
if you remember, I had these Tower Records stands.
That's right.
I actually got them from Tower Records. They were like getting rid of them or something.
Yeah.
And I made the cards that had the labels on.
That's right. You did.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. It was like a record store going to my house. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, streaming began. I felt like I at the beginning of streaming, I felt like I kind of had given the record companies a lot of money. So I felt okay with just like downloading and shit.
That's how I felt too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they started to not be as important to me in the early 2000s. And then the great sell-off began in like 2009, 10, 11. And then record collecting started. So there's just a collector's mentality that I think I have. Now it's cassettes and I collect VHS and stuff too. But I don't think I'm unique in this, like this collecting as a metalhead kind of thing. So.
No, I don't think so. I think it's probably more common than not, really, as far as the genres that we deal with. I think most people.
But it is certainly a burden too, man. I mean,
that's where I'm getting. When I had the same trajectory. Like when I was in the 80s, 90s, into late 90s, early 2000s. I think before I sold them all, I had 5,000 or 7,000 CDs, something like that.
Your collection was very impressive. It was at least 2 walls.
Yeah, and it was stuff I was collecting since like the early to mid 80s.
Yeah.
But then once CDs kind of became a little bit more obsolete with streaming and all the stuff that you said, I just found it to be like this burden. I moved across country a couple times, and it was like boxes and boxes and boxes of heavy shit. And
yeah, exactly.
And then it kind of became just kind of I felt disheartened by the situation. It's like I have like at least a few of these boxes of things that I haven't listened to in 10 years. Like, why do I still have this?
Yeah.
And even if it's like a record I love, like how many times am I going to listen to this in my life to like justify me moving with it, having it occupy space, you know.
I don't know. I go through phases of that stuff. Sometimes I look at something that I know is special to me, or I collect it and I know is unique and maybe rare. It makes me feel good sometimes.
Yeah,
and
me too.
God damn, I want to get rid of this thing. So I'm not using it, or I'm not doing anything. Somebody else could probably appreciate it more than I.
Yeah.
It's just collecting dust. But then I think 2 years later, I'm like, I'm so glad I still have this, because I regret selling a lot of my CDs, dude. I regret selling a lot of that shit that I got rid of, you know. Sometimes I got rid of tons of cassettes, and I have this vision of going to the dump, and like, I don't know why I didn't try to sell them, but I just threw them on the pile, and they spilled out in a cascade towards me, and it was very cinematic, and it was sad. Now, and I remember buying each one of those tapes, and now I'm fucking collecting tapes again, bro. So it's like, why did I do that? So I regret it. I don't know.
But why do you regret it? Do you regret it for like the nostalgia of it, or just because you like being surrounded by these things?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel good to like be surrounded by my hobbies. Maybe that's a hoarding mentality as well, you know.
Well, I think it kind of plays into that a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like with my CDs, you know, I had walls and walls of CDs, and it made me feel good to like sit amongst them. And be like, it's like this lifelong collection of something I'm super passionate about.
That's right.
And I still feel that, but I feel it it's more complicated now for me.
Yeah, it is. And it's more about striking a balance. I don't think we're ever going to get rid of all our vinyl and all our stuff, but maybe not letting it control our lives, especially if it talks us out of moving or talks us out of, you know, doing things, because we are worried about hauling around all these boxes and shit. You know?
Well, and that's the thing is I have a completist attitude for the most part with bands I love. I have to have everything, but I'm starting to like get myself out of that. Like, I don't have to have this like reissue of a demo that sounds like shit with rehearsals on the other side, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that happening right now.
Yeah, tons of it.
Labels are putting things out.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I could do that, and then it's going to sit there. I'm listening to it once, and it's going to sit there for the rest of my life. And how many of those am I going to have? I'm not going to throw on a fucking Dark Throne rehearsal on vinyl, you know? I'm just not going to.
Yeah, exactly. It'll sound like shit.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, even now I've been pretty good about not buying shit constantly, but like I have records that I absolutely adore, like Rotting Christ records that I absolutely adore, but like, how many times in my life am I actually going to listen to that? And it's just sitting there. So, but also,
do you think that when vinyl started coming out and that started becoming more in our lives, I don't know when that was, 10 years ago now or whatever, 8 years ago, but that started like this frenzy. And I think as we were older, we have the money to do it now too. And I started buying things that I wished I had when I was younger.
Yeah,
you know?
Same. Yeah, and I went through this period when I first got my newest record like set up like 8-10 years ago, whenever that was. I bought everything I even remotely liked. It was like, oh, like this record, like the Buggles. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy that. Like all these, like every Blue Oyster Cult record. Yeah, like $3 used. I'm going to buy all this shit. And it was like really fun. But then after a while, I'm like, I have a ton of records, and a lot of these I don't really even care about.
I know.
So I've been getting.
So you end up going through those. You're getting rid of those.
Oh
now,
yeah,
right?
I sell stuff constantly.
More of a curated collection.
That's what I'm trying to do now, is like more of a curated collection, like my favorite things that are important to me. But I'm also have this attitude of I look at it as more of like a living, breathing organism, where in the past it was just like, this is my shit. Like I'm a dragon sitting on my pile of coins.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's more like, I like to think of it as like it lives with me for a little bit, and if it doesn't serve me anymore, then it moves on. And
I like that a lot. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of how it's working for me now, and I appreciate that. And it also makes me feel less bad about spending money on like an important record to me, a record that's important to me. Like I got Disco Volante, the original pressing with the 7-inch for like $80. It's a lot of money for one record for me, but I was like, but I sold like fucking like 10 Yes records that I didn't want and paid for that Disco Volante, you know? So I just look at it that way. Like things are always coming in, coming out. It just takes up so much space too.
For me, I think like having a certain amount of space and not growing beyond it is kind of where I'm at now. It's like, if I have a certain amount of racks, if I have more than that, I got to get rid of some shit, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't really think about it in those exact terms of space, but it is kind of what I'm doing at the same time. So
yeah, I feel like I need boundaries for myself. Otherwise it gets out of control easy. And I don't know, my wife would think that that's a hoarding mentality, but I think it's a collector's mentality. There's a very fine line.
Yeah, I'm on your side on this one, I think. But I do.
Thanks,
I do the same thing. And, I guess the last couple of years I've been a little bit disheartened by the process too, because like Decibel Omega will come out with a new record. I love Decibel Omega. I buy it right away. The record's awesome. Like their last album, one of my favorite metal records in the last few years. I get the record, listen to it once, put it on my shelf, and then it just sits there.
Well, I mean, you probably that one time really had a good time looking at the packaging and maybe reading the lyrics and stuff.
Yep.
You wouldn't have had that brief moment of experience with Spotify.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe it's worth it for that. Just that fucking hour of your life there where you get time with it.
Well, I think it is. It is. And I want to be clear. I'm very much not saying that I'm against, buying physical items. It's quite the opposite.
You're not a minimalist, dude. You're not a minimalist.
No. It's quite the opposite. I'm very much in support of buying records and supporting the artists in that way. But I'm just more curious about how you manage that when you have, like Marty Hill. I mean, he's got like fucking records everywhere. I mean, like insane. And part of me loves that. Part of me loves that. Yeah. But part of me is like, that's not how my life operates. Like I can't live like that myself. So how do you strike that balance? Like how do you approach that?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like I said, we have a little more money now that we did not have, and those things draw our attention, and if you're doing it as like an investment or something, I don't know if it's going to pan out for you, but
yeah,
I think that's a lot of justification, some of that rare shit.
Right. And I have done that. I have bought a record, and I've never once purchased something with the intent of flipping it, but I have sold some things over the years that actually I sold for more than what I got them for.
When I was selling, when we went through that purge of selling, I think it was I did mine a little after yours, but
yeah,
I was selling some of these CDs, like these Bay Area thrash shit was selling so expensive. It was like $60 for the CD. I couldn't believe it at the time.
Yeah. I sold a Don Slaughter Son reissue, like a reissue from Century Media for $300 on eBay.
Whoa!
So, like, what sense does that make? I mean, it's a reissue. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and now like I'm just doing vinyl. Like that's all I do. But you're into cassettes and VHS. I mean, if you can see behind Nick, he's got walls of cassettes. Like,
I do. I have a lot of cassettes right now. I'm really into it. I don't know. I think I started justification of it with it's cheaper than vinyl, and then and I enjoyed like the reminiscing of throwing a Ride the Lightning and putting on your Walkman and just going for a walk. It felt so fucking good. So I just started to feel that nostalgia. And I think it happened during COVID. I think I was just feeling so nostalgic for childhood and stuff during COVID. And I don't know if that was similar to what a lot of people were feeling, but I started to like get crazy about cassettes, and there's no redeeming quality to them.
No, I mean
the sound is shitty and it's fucking, the inlay card is not as pretty as like a CD, but I don't know. I love it.
But there is something to be said about throwing it in a Walkman and, walking around. I mean, you could do the same thing with your phone and Spotify, but it's a different experience,
Totally is.
It's the ritual of it, just like putting the needle on a record,
Exactly.
It's that ritual.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Like, I haven't gotten into the cassette thing, and I don't think I will. I'm really, really trying to be very intentional with items in my life, and I'm going through my studio right now and reorganizing and getting rid of stuff. Like I have like broken pedals that I can't get rid of because like they were custom made for me, or I toured Europe with them and they have these memories attached. It's like, well, is it just going to be a paperweight that sits in my studio forever then? Maybe.
Yeah, it's almost like we're paying rent or mortgages just to store our shit,
Yeah, like house all of our shit.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense when you think about it. It's like it's beyond like just a house for your body. It's for your things.
Yeah, it's for your shit. Just like George Carlin always said, a place for my stuff,
Nice.
And that's like I have, you can't see it right here, but I have a mixer over here that I've just been holding on to. It's like an old 12-channel mixer. Like, I never use it. I'll never use it again. But what do I do with it? It's just sitting there.
Yeah, it's probably quite an effort to try to get rid of it. You know, you can't just go to Goodwill and probably take it. You know, you want to have it go to a good home. But.
Well, and that's the next part I wanted to talk about is a lot of these things. Part of the reason I struggle with it is because I these things are special. I don't want to just throw them away, or donate them to Goodwill. So like if I have like this mixer, I want to see if somebody else can use it, or if I have like 20 band shirts, I don't want to just donate them to Goodwill. I want to try to get those to good people that are going to want them, you know?
Well, you're selling some now, and you're selling them for so cheap that it's like, why wouldn't somebody buy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I'm just looking for like postage, you know, basically. Like, I'm not trying to make money off of it, really. But yeah, I've been posting them on Facebook and like, hey, I've got this old shirt that I don't wear anymore. It doesn't fit me or whatever. Don't need it.
Yep.
And people get off on that sometimes, and they'll buy them. But
Good.
I just don't want to, I just don't want to throw those Goodwill. And then Goodwill has like some Disharmonic Orchestra T-shirts. Like, it just doesn't, somebody out there would appreciate it. And then, but that's also kind of like a weird justification of keeping your shit too,
That's right. I mean, what if you did give it to Goodwill? It'd be pretty amazing if you or I were in there and saw that.
Oh, I'd love that. I mean,
it'd be so random.
I mean, it'd make more sense to go to like Buffalo Exchange or something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. But, like kids are wearing Iron Maiden shirts. They don't know who the band is. So maybe they'll wear it. Somebody will wear that.
Oh, yeah. I would think so. But, but I want it to go to someone that would like it. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I'm going through my shit. I'm selling records all the time. I'm just trying to like pare down. In the next couple of years, my wife and I would like to get into a smaller place, maybe closer into town. So I'm kind of prepping for that. I want to focus on travel more. I want to focus on experiences more.
Paying for experiences is much, much, much better than paying for material things.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I've been at with it. Sounds like you struggle with kind of the same issues.
And I think it'll always be a struggle. I don't think it's going to change for me, but I go through phases of all this shit is bringing me down. I'm going to get rid of it. And then sometimes I regret that, but I think there's just a balance I got to find. And, at the moment I have a little bit of space here and I could kind of put some things in it, but it's nothing I'm attached to. The shit burns down. That's fine. Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you have anything in your collection of records, tapes, VHS, or anything that would be like completely irreplaceable that you would be like genuinely upset about?
I don't think so, unless you were talking about like, demos that we made in the 90s and stuff. But I have an Iron Maiden box set. It's the first 10 years. They put this out in 1990, and I bought the vinyl of that, and it was like $250 or something.
Yeah.
It's probably worth a lot more than that now, and that's really special to me. I don't know. I've got Chuck Schuldner's autograph on like a little business card, shit like that. Those are way more important than any of like the physical media, autograph stuff.
How about the stuff that you're on? Like you said, the demos. You mean like demos that you've made?
Yeah, stuff from the 90s that not on Spotify or something, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be pretty sad. I'd probably get over it pretty quickly. But, when I die, who's going to fucking give a shit about this stuff?
Right.
I'm just going to go in a dump somewhere. So
yeah, I'll make sure of it. But
you can have a pick of any of this shit. Take all my cassettes, dude.
But I think about that too. I think for me, it's kind of the same deal. Like just stuff that I've created myself. If I were to lose those somehow, like obviously I've got a pretty great Agalloch collection, and if I didn't have my Pale Folklore box set anymore, that would just suck. Like these are like really rare items. I don't feel like I should have to like buy them on eBay, for $1,000 from somebody else.
Exactly. So
like if someone wanted to like steal those, or if I lost them in a fire or something, like that would be a bummer.
Yes.
But everything else is, I'm not that attached to it.
I agree. And I think it's just, finding that balance like we're talking about. If you move into a smaller place, you're going to have to get rid of some things. And you probably, once a couple of days go by, you probably won't really regret it,
Yeah. When I did my big CD purge, I don't think I've once regretted it. I think I had a few CDs.
A couple I got rid of. It was just like Just like demos. I don't remember now. I can't even think of anything specific, so I'm not going to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've really had any issues with that. But I'm sure there's been some times here and there, but nothing profound enough for me to remember at this point, for sure.
Well, it's almost like now I have to think about every show I go to, I almost purchase something, you know?
Me too.
And the shirt, whether it's a shirt or tape or at Blood Incantation, I got their VHS. I mean, it's awesome, but
yeah.
So I feel like it's a way to support bands, and I don't know if that's accurate or what, but I think it is. So
it is.
For me, it's worth it at this point in my life to still buy stuff. So I have to just be careful, I guess.
I almost always buy something at every show. I try to support the artists, and most of the time for me now it's T-shirts. If I like the record, I'll buy the record, but I usually don't buy it at the show. Like I'll already have it usually. But I always try to buy a shirt because I know how that works and to support the artist and all that. But sometimes, you know, if it doesn't fit right or I don't really like the design, I'll wear it a few times and then I'll give it to somebody or, you know, move on or, you know, sell it.
That's the thing. It's like most of the ones I buy now, I'm a taller guy and like they're wide, the double XL is wide. So it doesn't really fit. It looks like a baby shirt on me sometimes. Yeah. Like, damn it. And you never know. Other times I bought a shirt, it's like it's an amazing shirt. So you
never know. I mean, I have the same problems. I'm not as tall as you are, but I do have similar issues, and that's why I started doing the Earth and Sound stuff because I was like, I want really nice, like well-made, high-quality shirts.
Nice.
And I love my shirts; like they fit really well. But sometimes I get these shirts, and it's like I wash it twice, and then I can't wear it again because it's all stretched out or it feels super rough. Sometimes the designs are so crappy too. I'm like, what is this bullshit on this shirt? Like,
remember that one in Baltimore? I bought that Demolition Hammer. It had like a wolf on the front, and then it had some kind of like hydro quote on the back. It had nothing to do with the cover. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was like fear of water or something on the back.
Yeah, it was weird.
That was really weird.
But I like the idea of like taking the old shirts and making a quilt. Now I've thought about this before. And I have no sewing skills, but it'd be cool to make a huge ass blanket of like all the old shirts that we used to wear.
Yeah. Well, I've told you my aunt used to do that. She gave me a couple giant quilts of like my old death metal shirts from the 90s.
Dude, that's amazing. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. That's amazing. That's probably where I got the idea. I got it from you. Damn.
Yeah, maybe. But also like it's a great idea, but then there again, it's just another, like you're taking these things that are something that you could give away or sell, and then it's like, now I have this giant quilt of carcass shirts.
Cannot sell that because your dead aunt sewed that thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She's not dead. She's still around, but I did give them away because when I moved from Portland to Minneapolis that one time, I just left them because I couldn't take them. I moved on a Greyhound. I like shipped my CDs and put my bass on my back and jumped on a Greyhound, and so I just left the quilts there. So
that's like an age-old story, you know,
isn't it?
The origin story.
Yeah. The death metal quilts in the closet.
Yeah. So who ended up with them?
I don't know. Probably some tech bro in Vancouver right now.
He's got it on his wall, pretending he's cold or whatever.
Yeah. I've got this entire quilt of carcass shirts.
I'm leaning into being more edgy this year, so I'm going to put this shit on my wall.
I mean, it seems like cool stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Some like Disturbed type of shit. All right. Let's talk about You Suffer for a second. You want to?
Oh, great track.
Okay. I'm going to play the album version of You Suffer.
Now, why are we talking about this? What's what were we thinking about this song?
Well, okay. I mean, I guess that's a good thing to say. It's an interesting song, right? I mean, it's 4 seconds. At one point in time, it was in the Guinness Book of World Records as being the shortest song. It still might be. I don't know. But in 2019, I started asking guests that were on this podcast. I would play them the song and then look for a reaction. And some people knew what it was immediately, and some people didn't know what it was. And I played it for my family and got reactions, and I just thought it'd be a cool idea to do like a episode, kind of like VH1 style, where you hear the song and then you hear a reaction. It's like Scott Ian talking about something, and then you play it again, and then it's like somebody else.
Scott Ian, dude.
It's always Scott Ian, yeah. Unfortunately, not on this one.
No.
But I thought that would be cool. And I got a handful of reactions, and then COVID hit, and then I wasn't having people in my studio to record anymore. So it's just been on the back burner, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe have that combined with one of these shorter episodes that we're doing.
Nice.
So I have basically this clip now that it's reactions of people from 2019 in my studio, and then I also decided to ask a bunch of people a couple days ago for reactions. So I have reactions coming in from a variety of people that I haven't received yet, but obviously by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be a nice menagerie collage of You Suffer and reactions at the end of the episode.
Nice.
The ones I do have from 2019 in my studio are from our good friends Casey CP.
Nice.
There's an old one from you, Nick.
Nice.
My daughters, Ione and Ellory. Mr. Don Anderson is on there.
Cool.
A couple other people are on there, and I have some coming in from some people that were pretty pinnacle in the scene at the time, and I'm hoping to get some insight onto maybe people that were actually there when that was being made. So we'll see if that happens or not. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not holding my breath that it'll happen.
Well, that would be amazing. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that would be a cool experiment. And since it kind of got pushed by the wayside, I thought it would be cool for us to talk about it a little bit. And then I can play that at the end. Let's listen to it real quick. And then let's discuss. All right.
Okay. I'll go pour a coffee and get ready for this epic song.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom, come back. All right. Here we are. Album version of You Suffer by Napalm Death off the record Scum.
There it is.
There it is. You Suffer, Napalm Death.
It'd be cool to be a DJ and you'd have to build it up and then you'd be right back in 1 second.
Yep. Bam.
The timing says 4 seconds, but it's only 1 second.
Okay, let's try that again. I think you're right. It says 4 seconds, but it's like a second and a half or something. Let's try it again. Yeah, I think it was like 1 second.
What do you think they're saying there? Or what are they saying?
They say, you suffer, but why?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting question, right? But why? Like it's a choice.
Right. I mean, sometimes it is a choice.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So let's listen to You Suffer Part 2. This is on Napalm Death's, what do you call it? The Peel Sessions. All right.
Oh, cool.
You ready for this? Let's do it.
Well, the reverb makes it even longer.
It clocks in at about 14 seconds because of the reverb. So that's pretty great. So the thing that I talked to about the people in 2019 was kind of like, okay, it's easy to see this as a gimmick, right? It's just like something gimmicky or fun or cute, silly, whatever. But can there be like a deeper statement to this? Of course, Don had some really profound things to say about it in relation to contemporary classical musicians like John Cage and things like that. And I think those are all, very valid points. But I find things like this interesting because it is so easy to dismiss. And I don't want to say that, Napalm were trying to do anything super highbrow or artsy with this, but it is interesting to look at these things in a different way rather than just dismissing them. Do you
think it was some sort of homage to the hardcore scene because bands were doing, DRI was doing this and in the mid 80s and stuff. So I don't know.
And I mean, Napalm comes from the hardcore scene and, I mean, I think it goes with all that. I mean, I think it is supposed to be somewhat silly and stuff, obviously. But it's just always interesting to know if people get more out of it or if they think it's provocation, I don't remember what you said in 2019, but you did bring up DRI when I played it for you then.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I love DRI. I love DRI. But it's interesting to think about, like, what is the shortest song also?
Yeah.
Like, we can make a really short one. Really short.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's kind of the beauty of this. I mean, like, you and I could literally just go, ah, and then, oh, there's a short song.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's interesting because, like, they're not just pounding on their instruments. They're actually playing something. Like, if you listen to different versions, it's very similar. Like, they know what they're doing. It's not just total bullshit, which I find interesting, too. Like, they actually, even if it is, like, 2 notes or something, they composed this to a degree, you know.
Well, like the Ballad of Jimi Hendrix, you know, or
exactly,
SOD.
exactly. Yeah. You brought up SOD too last time.
Of course I did. That's so predictable. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, one thing I do want to play here is, this is really cool. My good friend Andy Whale from Bolt Thrower, you may remember him.
Definitely.
He sent me this video clip of Napalm Death from 1986. And he said that as far as he is aware, this is the original version of You Suffer, which is a little bit longer. So,
wow. How does he have this?
Just because he was there, you know, and he knows this shit. And I mean, it's on YouTube. It's not like a hidden thing, but he's like, this is as far as he knows, the original version. So I'm gonna play this real quick, except I have to switch tabs. Okay, so this is a little bit longer.
Live Birmingham, 1986.
Yep, Live Birmingham, 1986.
Crazy.
So thanks to Andy Whale for sharing this. This is pretty cool. All right, here we go.
You suffer. Come on, lad.
There you go.
Very different version.
Yeah.
Very different.
I mean, I want to say it kind of has the same spirit. It's just like super short and fast and noisy, but
they had different lyrics, it sounded like, too.
It's hard to say, you know, but it did sound different. But it's kind of interesting that they would start with it being however long that was. I don't know, like 10 seconds or so. And then like, no, we're going to, you know, on the album, we're going to do it like a second and a half.
Yeah, it evolved to go shorter and shorter.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But
that is funny.
Yeah, super cool input there. Thanks, Andy. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
In the little montage I have at the end, I found a couple of different live versions too, and I've kind of spliced them in there too. There's one from some British TV show that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And so people hear that.
Were they talking about it in the context of it being the shortest song in the world or something? Or
no, it was more like here's Napalm Death on BBC or something like that.
Nice.
And they played more than just You Suffer, but there's You Suffer on there too.
I see.
You know, we're talking obviously like Lee Dorian, Bill Steer era. I think Justin Broderick was on what we just listened to, right? Wasn't he?
I don't know the lineup, dude.
I can't. No, no, I don't think so. That's definitely Mick Harris.
86, dude. They were like teenagers.
Infants. Infants. Yeah. So anyway, so some cool live versions on there, and I just happened to stumble across something that looks like a cover of You Suffer. It's called I Suffer More by someone named Elise Eklund. Let's check that out real quick.
I suffer more.
So good.
Cool. That's
so good.
That's definitely a tongue-in-cheek cover of sorts. That's pretty funny.
It's like a Gen X version of it, you know?
Yeah. I Suffer More. Yeah.
Oh, Gen Z. Sorry. Gen Z.
Gen Z. I don't know I can't keep track of all the generations.
I know.
So.
Oh, yeah, we're Gen X, dude. Gen Z. Yeah, Gen Z.
Are we X?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I thought we were Y.
Damn it.
I don't know. We're not boomers, though. That's all I know.
We're the Pepsi generation, dude.
Yeah, and the MTV generation.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So, yeah, at the end of the episode, I'm going to put in that little You Suffer thing. Please enjoy that. And let's move on to a segment. Did you have a fuck, marry, kill, Nick?
Fuck, marry, kill. What would you fuck? What would you marry? What would you kill?
I did, because this is less a fuck, marry, kill, of more of a what would your lineup order be if you were the booking agent for 1992's U.S. campaign for Musical Destruction Tour?
Oh shit!
Which was Napalm, Carcass, and Cathedral. What order would you put those bands?
If I had to pick a certain order for each night, I gotcha.
Yeah. Like they're coming to Portland, and they leave it to you to decide who's a headliner. Yeah,
that's a great question. I think with that tour and most tours like that, they alternate, right? I think each night
I don't know if they did in this one. I'm not sure. I'm
not sure either.
I think Napalm was headlining that. But...
Okay, so remind me, it's Napalm, Carcass,
and Cathedral. And Brutal Truth was on this lineup too. Can you believe that,
Brutal
dude?
Truth.
Yeah.
We're talking the campaign for Musical Destruction here, right?
Yep, 1992.
Okay. Carcass, Napalm, Cathedral. So 92, that is...
Yep.
That's Necroticism, because that's before Heartwork.
Yep.
That is Utopia Banished?
I think so. Got to look at that.
Yeah, and Cathedral, it would be Ethereal Mirror.
Did that come out by then?
Yeah, because it came out when I was in high school, for sure.
Okay, so yeah. Amazing.
That's a pretty crazy lineup. Well, for me, it would be... I just think it would be Cathedral, Napalm, and then Carcass.
What?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I'm surprised, because Necroticism is like our favorite album, dude. I'm surprised that wouldn't be top.
No, that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Running order. Yeah.
Okay.
Open with Cathedral, move on to Napalm, move on to Carcass.
Exactly.
Playing last.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah, for sure.
I think that would be a little bit... I mean, it makes a little bit of sense, like historically, because, Cathedral, Lidorian, Napalm, that whole relationship. Carcass over Napalm might be a little problematic for some people, but for me, as far as like who I like the best, even though it's a really tough one. I mean, I adore all three of those bands.
Oh yeah, imagine that tour, man. You didn't get to see that, obviously.
No, I didn't get to see that. And Brutal Truth, like they're so not. I don't care about Brutal Truth.
Yeah,
honestly.
they had they had a following. I think Napalm, Brutal Truth seems like a pretty good pairing for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate Brutal Truth. They just never hit me for whatever reason.
Yeah, me either. And remember, they were on like every tour back then. Too.
Oh man,
they played a lot.
Yeah.
It seems like Neurosis and Brutal Truth were on like every tour.
It really does. Yeah. I feel like Broken Hope was on a lot of tours around then too.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I saw them a few times, but
they're going to be at MDF. Yes,
Broken Hope are.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
God, I haven't seen them since Milwaukee Metal Fest '94. I don't think so.
Nice.
Yeah, been a long time. Yeah, I mean that would have been an amazing tour to see. Of course, that and the Grind Crusher tour too.
Yes. Oh God, amazing.
And I think the Campaign for Musical Destruction tour, they had an American version and a European version.
Yeah, I don't know how the lineups differed. This was the U.S. version. I looked that up earlier.
I feel like I could be wrong, and I could be getting Grind Crusher confused, but I thought Confessor was on the Campaign for Musical Destruction too.
Nice.
I can't remember though, but yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, that's an awesome question. So you agree with me? That would be the same.
I do. Yeah, my choice would be the same. Carcass headlining, then Napalm, then Cathedral.
Yeah, nice. What about? Well, maybe another good one sometime would be the Grind Crusher one. Off the top of my head, that was Carcass, Bolt Thrower, Entombed, maybe.
Yeah,
man,
we'd have to look that up. Yeah,
I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
I saw Anthrax open up for Volbeat, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh yeah, fuck. Where'd you see that?
I was in Spokane. I saw that.
Oh man,
because Volbeat was turned into some kind of arena rock at some point.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then Anthrax is opening up. I was like, what's happening?
I kind of liked their one record, that Machine. What's the one record called?
Yeah, Gangsters and
Gangster Blood Machine something.
Yeah, they had a couple of good. They mean like Metallica-esque riffs for sure.
Yeah, that Assholes song was kind of fun.
That's right. Yeah, that's one of their hits, I think.
Yeah.
And did you see Creator and Anthrax are doing this headline? But Testament's opening for that, which is interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Creator and Anthrax together is a really interesting lineup. Like that's strange. Two different ends of the spectrum as far as thrash goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool. What are you wearing? T-shirt of the day.
It's T-shirt of the day. It's a T-shirt of the day.
Ew, what are you wearing?
Let's find out. It's a T-shirt of the day.
Let's see what I got here. Oh, it's my Portland Suicidal shirt.
Oh shit, that's awesome. I wish I had one of those. That's so cool.
Yeah, they had, so the merch line was Agalloch-esque. It was large.
Huge.
Yeah, and so by the time I got up there, all they had were double X, and I'm an XL right now.
Yeah.
So I got the double X, a little wide on me, but it's pretty awesome. They made unique ones for the Portland show.
That's so cool.
I'm rubbing my nipple right now.
I can tell. Yeah, I can see that. I like that. All right, let's see. I don't even remember what I'm wearing, honestly. Let's see. I'm wearing a sculptured hoodie.
Nice.
Whoa! Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption.
That's appropriate.
Yep, totally forgot about that.
They're great live, dude. Fucking Napalm is amazing live. Holy shit. Barney's still got it, dude. He's running around like a madman.
Oh, man.
There.
Yeah, he's running around like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of energy. Yeah, love Napalm. Like, so great.
I am going to go on a limb here and say that I feel like they're a better live band than studio band.
Interesting. Wow. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we could have a whole show about like who's better live than in the studio.
That's true. That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for Napalm. They're so different now than they were. I mean, Barney doesn't really growl anymore. He kind of does that like hardcore shout.
That's what I'm talking about, I think, is more of like, I like to hear their new stuff. I don't mind hearing their new stuff live, but I haven't really been paying attention or being a big fan of their newer stuff. So
I haven't listened to their records in a very long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Very long time.
Yep.
Very, very long time.
A very long time. That's
very
a long
time. It's a long time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nick, I think it's about time we wrap this up.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, visit the website, earthandsound.org. Check us out on Spotify. Give us a rating or so. Subscribe. You can donate to the podcast through Linktree to help us with overhead costs like hosting, microphones, new glasses for Nick, like whatever we might need.
I'm getting old, dude. I need glasses all the time now.
Yeah.
Really.
Every week he needs a new prescription. So if you could donate, that would help us out a lot.
I need them in the car. I need one. Like, I need every table. I need everywhere.
We should make some I Hate Music eyeglasses.
Yeah, we should. I mean, most of our fans are probably old. So.
Probably. All these Kyles are fucking old.
Yeah, they are for sure.
Yeah, check out the playlist, even though it's, more about the Mortis episode. If you haven't checked the Mortis episode out, that's a more robust, voluptuous, and curvy episode. You should check that one out. Very, very happy, very proud of that one. And I believe that we're recording again in like a week or so, a little over a week.
Yep.
Lots of shit coming up after that. We've got Agalloch show February 17th, San Francisco with Dawnbringer. Dawnbringer's first and last show on the West Coast ever. And big news as of today, I Hate Music podcast is traveling to Hell's Heroes Fest in March in Houston, Texas. Yeah.
Dude.
We're both headed down there for 3 days, or a little bit more actually, but going to go check out some Candlemass, Solitude Eternus, Queensryche, Autopsy doing Severed Survival in its entirety. I didn't even know about that until today.
Demolition Hammer. So many great bands are playing this thing. I'm so excited.
Dawnbringer, Night, my buddy Avinaash's band, Night. Yeah, I can't even think of all of them. A lot of great shit.
Me neither.
Oh, Forbidden. I'm actually really excited about Forbidden.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, we're headed down for that. And then next weekend, I'm going to be at the Grammys. Be down there for a long weekend. And then, yeah, I think after this Grammy experience, I'd like to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And so, yeah, we've got lots of ideas coming up, lots of shit. Visit us, rate us, donate, and please write us at hate.pod.music@gmail.com. Thanks again, Nick.
Yeah, no problem.
Good to see you as always. Thanks for doing this remotely. This worked out pretty rad.
I think so.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You have all the pieces of a song. It sounds like music. How am I supposed to? Well, there was guitar. There was everything. Vocals, drums. What's it come in at?
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Do you think the crowd was just like chanting, "You suffer"? Come on, play it. It's like their free bird.
Oh, I really liked it. Yeah, that was like my favorite song ever. So it's like, oh, you suffer by not hearing the rest of the song. Like, you only get a little bit of it. Is it the shortest song ever? How long is it? Like, yeah, I don't think that's the shortest song ever. I'm sorry to break it to you. Well, I just think it's really easy to top 2 seconds.
Hello, this is John Rosenthal of Invisible Oranges and Decibel Magazine, and You Suffer is great because it is the most extreme Napalm Death song in their entire discography. Like you can say they go faster or they're heavier, but nothing beats just the unbridled explosion of 2 seconds of just kinetic energy.
I loved it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like, awesome. Except the only downside is that I'm kind of disappointed. I thought it would be shorter. Like,
yeah, I mean 2 seconds.
Like Napalm Death, 2 seconds is really easy to beat. I did it, and I have heard your song like not even a minute ago, and I already topped it.
Sorry, do it again.
Wait, how can you not say you suffer? Like, how is it shorter than saying you suffer if he says you suffer in the song? Okay. It's kind of sudden because it's just like, ah! All of a sudden. Right. It kind of like surprised me. Well, you just blasted it in my ears, and I want to say you suffer really fast and get in the Guinness World Records. You suffer. I did it! I said it before the song even started to play. Beat that, Napalm Death.
That's true.
I love it. That's probably my favorite
death metal song.
What song is shorter than that? It doesn't have a cello in it, so I don't know. That isn't a good thing. Okay. Yeah.
Concentrate. Always an epic, that one. All right, we probably have to leave pretty soon. But before we do, I'd like to say a big thanks to all of you for coming down tonight. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. And also to Scalp Lock and Matter for supporting us. Fantastic, thank you. And finally, as I said at the start of the set, for you for coming down, it's and supporting sort of good welfare for animals, whether you're vegetarian or not. It matters.
And everyone starts at the same time and stops at the exact same time.
Here we go. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like reverse psychology because he wants you to think that he's saying, you suffer, but you don't really know, so that's making you suffer, and that's why it's called You Suffer.
That's great.
And also on the live version, I like how they have the like drumsticks.
Oh, like the click in, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit too angry for me, a bit too aggressive, a bit too doom-laden, a bit too subversive. So let's lighten the mood here a little. Madness on the BBC. Was that it?
Yep, basically.
How come songs that are so short?
I mean, well, them sort of songs don't represent the band as it is today. I mean, like, that was, like, short and to the point for a purpose.
What were the lyrics in that?
You Suffer, But Why? I mean, it's about 3 or 4 years old, that song.
I mean, like, it's about 3 or 4 years old. What sort of songs are you doing now? Longer songs?
Yeah, I mean, basically we put...
More death metal songs? Yeah. You've got some brilliant lyrics. I mean, real poetry. Your pride. Why should your pride be so restricted to a mere fraction of this earth from which we all have evolved? I mean, like real, like, deep lyrics. But you can't hear them. Why?
Well, I mean, when I'm actually singing, the words are running around in my head, but I mean, the music's so loud and aggressive, it's sort of, I don't know, you just get into it and just the way you react to it. I mean,
it's an aggressive style of music.
The words might not be decipherable, but they are running around.
That's the point of the lyric sheet. Because obviously, we have to have a lyric sheet, or else there's no point having lyrics. We don't pretend that anyone can understand them. When we're actually playing.
But why do you try and fit so many words into such a...
Well, it's the same with every instrument. I mean, there's like so many riffs fitted in, so many beats fitted into it. I mean, you can't have the vocals one step behind or something, can you?
Yeah.
Well, look, they're rooting, they're tooting, they're electrocuting. I mean, this is music for young lovers. Step aside, Kylie Minogue, turn up the TV, plug in your pacemaker, don't get out of breath. Ladies and gentlemen, Napalm Death.
It sounds different. It sounds like it sounds like he's saying blue eyes.
It could be SOD, it could be Carcass.
Yeah. But what's your gut?
Who it is? Or I think it's Napalm.
Yep, it is.
Nice.
Yep. Napalm Death's You Suffer.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
It's quick and to the point.
Exactly. Yeah. And you nailed it right away. You're like, oh, Napalm Death or...
Well, yeah. Kings of short songs. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Let me talk. I was
it.
worried about talking over it.
You didn't, though. Do you want me to replay it so you can talk
what was
over
that?
it?
Let me hear it again.
You want to hear it again?
Well, what I was trying to say was...
See, you did it. It's great. Do you recognize it?
Yeah, of course. It's You Suffer.
Yes.
But why?
But why?
Wasn't that the last part was in parentheses, wasn't it, on the liner notes?
I believe so, but if you listen closely, he does say it.
He does?
Yeah, listen really
sure?
closely.
Okay. Yeah, that's how a lot of those grind vocals seem to be. They cram a lot of words into a phrase.
Yeah.
What do I think about it?
What do you think? Do you think it's a novelty? Do you think there's anything more than novelty with it?
I don't think it's any more of a novelty than something like Cage's 433,
right.
Silence or something. Because I think you can easily look at that and make all kinds of, come to any kind of theoretical, people would say read too much into it or whatnot. Because I think that kind of song length, on one hand, took hardcore punk, in this case grindcore, to its logical extreme of stripping down things even in terms of time.
Exactly.
Yep. And so it fits with the overall project of what grindcore was. And there's also, I think, clearly an antagonistic element of writing a song that's like 5 seconds long.
Definitely.
And then was popularized by, like Anal Cunt.
Right.
And so many other...
The Meat Shits
and a lot of those sort of grindcore bands.
Dylan Neal of Thief here to talk about Napalm Death's 1 second masterpiece, You Suffer. I think it's a little think the track is a little longer. It's like 3 or 5 seconds, but the song is a second. It's amazing. They spoofed grindcore before grindcore was even established. I mean, that album is, I think, fair to say, the first grindcore album. And they were already turning it on its head. You know, stuff like that is easy to do nowadays because the tropes are well established. But they did it before it was even a thing. I think even at one point it had the Guinness Book of World Records set for it being the shortest song. I don't know if that was ever true. I just remember learning about that when I was younger and first getting into... Shh! Hey, be quiet. I don't fucking care. Okay. And, yeah, I remember seeing Napalm Death for the first time in the early aughts when I was a teenager, and they played that. And it was just the funniest fucking thing ever. I'm sure they play it all the time. That was the only time I'd seen them, though. And it's also a breath of fresh air, like in a genre where a lot of bands take themselves super seriously with 10-minute compositions, and here comes Napalm Death just having a laugh and turning it all on its head. And that's one of the things that makes metal great is they'll just fuck with anything, any standards, because metalheads are bastards and contrarians. And that's one of the things that has helped keep metal fresh and growing and alive. Or at least it used to. And to be a little more pretentious, I'll draw the comparison to John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds, where, you know, they're not doing the same thing where it's this serious art piece creating the environment as the composition, but it does sort of fuck with the concept or the idea of what a song is and what it can be. And that's all I have to say about that. I hate music. Goodbye.
I think it easily becomes a novelty. And I think okay, I don't think it was a novelty when it first happened, because I think it was a part of context. It was breaking a boundary. It was questioning what constitutes a song, what constitutes, an appropriate song length. And so I think when they did it, it wasn't a gimmick. Because like on the opposite side is, I think it's Morton Feldman's second string quartet is 6 hours long.
Right.
And then you have someone like Bellatar's Sight and Tango film being...
What, like 8 hours, isn't it?
Is it 8? Well, there's even... there's a movie that's like 14 hours long. Or like Andy Warhol's Sleep, which is just a man sleeping, you know. So there's all these things that I think it's very easy to intellectualize over them because they invite you to do that. You can project all kinds of ideas on that. So I think now it's a gimmick. Then it was provocative. I mean, that's true with most things. Things start out provocative and then they become recycled and appropriated and lose that because they're no longer in the same context. But in 1986, 87, whenever Scum came out.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it meant something so much more in 87 than it does in 2019 or even 1991.
It does, and I think you're right about the context. I think the context is really important with this. In the context of the album Scum, it doesn't stand out quite as much. But when I play you a 1.5-second piece of music, it really stands out.
Napalm Death's You Suffer. What song more epitomizes grindcore than this one? It's impossibly short, a single burst of 1.3 seconds of energy, maybe a little bit more than that. If I remember correctly, the first time I heard it, I thought it was a defect on the dub cassette I had. Then when I finally got Scum, which must have been in late 1990, I thought it wasn't a defect at all, but an actual song, which the band later exposed to be pure jest. To be honest, I didn't think much of it at the time. I was more into, the usual earache staples of Carcass, Bolt Thrown, and Entombed. But to this day, I still find it hilarious that earache actually put money behind it, or some money anyway. The gimmick paid off. here we are today talking about it, along with a bevy of YouTube videos, reaction videos, cover songs by you name it. But the sickest version I actually heard was at Decibel's 100th issue celebration show in Philly in 2013. Napalm invited Albert on stage to co-chair the vocals with Barney. Then they blasted their little hearts out for 1.3 seconds. It was a great homage from Napalm to Decibel back to Napalm.
Yeah, I mean, no one's listening to You Suffer. No one's like, let's throw on You Suffer.
No.
You know, I think they still play it live.
They do. And I find that interesting because if you listen to the recording and you listen to live versions, they're very similar. It's not like they're not just pounding on their instrument. They are actually doing something.
No, I think it's a chord.
Yep.
But even when they do it live, I think I saw a video of it where Barney's like, oh, that one's an epic. So there's even the sarcasm that follows it, I think, signals the fact that it's kind of a gimmick. Because even they don't necessarily take it terribly seriously.
Well, I don't know if you really can take it terribly seriously.
I have never been able to decide whether You Suffer is complete bullshit or a visionary attempt to condense all of grindcore's potential fury into 7 brutal seconds. Either way, it asks very little of your time.
I mean, I think there's an agenda behind it. Like, look, here's what we're going to do. It's so provocational.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's true anymore.
No, I think it's been played out and now it's laughable by most people.
Yeah.
I think you're the 6th person I've done this with, and almost every single person, their immediate reaction is laughter. Especially someone that's not familiar with Napalm Death.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard You Suffer probably the same time I heard Napalm Death. I mean... So it's a standard.
It's a Napalm Death standard. Yeah.
It's not I mean, I've heard it billions of times, and I mean, if you're playing it for, if I were to play it for my wife, or, you play it for your kids, they're going to think it's ridiculous. I don't know if I'm trying to think if I went back to when I was 12 or however old I was when I first heard it. And I mean, I think it was funny, but I felt like it was a provocational funny.
Yeah.
They would probably say taking the piss out of.
Right.
Or something.
I mean, that's all that AC or the Meat Shits is, really, is provocation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
More specifically, anal cunt.
Yeah, and that only goes so far. I mean, I know you're a big Gigi fan, but I think you got to have more in your bag of tricks and skills than provocation.
Well, Gigi had some great songs, too.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. I watched that documentary on the Mentors. I think I mentioned to you. You have to watch it.
Yes, I haven't seen that. I don't know.
And I was impressed with how musical they really were.
Yeah.
And how kind of just stupid they were. Like, you think there's recent protests and things happening, some very legitimate reasons and whatnot, but then they're just like, they're like 9th grade school kids humor.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Don't get me in trouble. I'm not supporting or condoning any of those bands, but I'm just saying, I was like, wow, they're actually better. The guitar player's it's pretty competent, and they're actually writing songs, and there's choruses. And
they're kind of catchy. It's like
same thing with Gigi Allen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Gigi's music isn't revolutionary per se, but he writes a lot of really catchy, good punk songs, and his country album is fantastic.
I try to think of since I'm just thinking on the fly, if I think of a provocational, transgressive artist that has a great deal of other things in the bag, I think of someone like Gaspar Noé, the filmmaker, did Irreversible, which was a film I saw in the theater. I don't know if you saw it with me.
Yep, I was there.
And people were walking out, and it became well known because of the really terrible rape scene, and also a lot of the camera work. But
the camera work is what made me
what makes that film so great isn't it's not the rape scene. That's what makes it infamous. But I think what makes it so great was its experiment with linearity and presenting with you a rape revenge film where you get the revenge first, which flips the whole sort of your moral reading of the film. And whenever you watch a rape revenge film, like I Spit on Your Grave or the Dirty Harry Sudden Impact and that whole genre, you get the transgression first, you get the thing first, and then you get to feel the catharsis. of the revenge, and that's what made that film so smart and interesting, is you were forced to sit with the discomfort of the revenge first. And so I think that film is very smart. So then it's like the provocation isn't just empty gesture. And I think that's the threat for a lot of people that only want to provoke.
Yeah. I agree.
There you go.
Well said.
Go watch the Mentors documentary.
That's the point of You Suffer.
Made by a Portland filmmaker, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The Mentors played real close to my house not too long ago, a few years ago, and I missed them. And then and El Duce died how many years ago?
Yeah, I mean it's all. I mean, but if you wear masks, you can always be replaced.
Guar.
Yeah, true that.
Oof. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Jory Appadale, and I am responsible for the projects Inephrins and High Life. You Suffer by Napalm Death. I think I first heard this song when I was 14 or 15 years old, and it was around the time where I was just discovering new music left and right, just super intrigued by metal music, and anything I could find on the internet I would just download and check out. And so when you import your music into iTunes, you can look at the track lengths, and I saw that this song, You Suffer, on this album was only like 1 or 2 seconds long, and I'm like, there's no way that this is a full song. This has to be some sort of glitch or mistake or file error or something. And so I think instead of starting the album at the beginning, I skipped right to this song first and just clicked on it because I was just bewildered and intrigued. So sure enough, hitting play just totally blew the lid off of what I thought a metal song could be. It's exactly what it needs to be, just a crazy, maniacal, short burst of energy. Absolutely loved it. I think I probably listened to it 10 times over and over.
This is a song called You Suffer by Napalm Death.
Hi there, this is Andy Whale, bolt thrower and death collector. I suppose the first time I would have really heard the track You Suffer by Napalm Death would have been the mid-80s. I mean, probably about 85 when they started supporting bands like Amoebics, Antisect, all those sort of anarcho-punk bands that were, that was the scene at the time back at the Mermaid in Birmingham. I seem to remember the track You Suffer being slightly longer as well from the version that we all know and, on the Scum LP. But Napalm Death were always an excellent band back in them days, very extreme, very intense, and always good fun, it was a great time in my life, and it was, a great track as well.
All right, the name of the band is called Napalm Death, and the song is called You Suffer. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. That's it.
Wait, what?
Want to hear it again?
That's literally it.
Yeah, I'll play it again. What'd you think of it?
That's interesting.
Was it too long?
Yeah, it was way too long. It was like the longest song ever.
An Earth in Sound production.